So this is an important video, and this is really historic, and I'll tell you why. Because the Starfish virus, which I call the Fukushima flu, which I've caught from day one, and this is really important. I'm going to send to my friend Damian, Lillard. So this is real important, Damian. Weber plays today at noon, and they got a great team. You know, I used to do the play-by-play there when Kobe 824, Damian Lillard's alumni game. Now this is important. And I'm going to send this. I hope Damian gets this. I'm a boy-girl twin, Damian. So Damian and his beautiful partner had a boy-girl twin. Now, stay with me. This is historic and real important because Damian played in the event center, Weber State, which I call the Wattis curse. He was hit by 22 points at halftime. And they got beat by a guy named Anthony Johnson, who after the game said, I had an out-of-body experience. And we'll talk about Weber, the virus, which I call the Starfish. But now this is important because Damian Lillard is born on the Bay. Oakland, he says, oh. Ogden. Oregon. Oh. It's historic because his iconic, nobody promoted him more than I did. I knew how good he was then. You know, Randy did. Let me show you this. Get out your Damian Lillard autographed. I mean, I have that jersey autographed by everybody because I did the play-by-play. The bookstore, that's the last Damian Lillard jersey. I have it right here. Gave it to me to do the play-by-play. Lillard's alumni game, I did the play. You know, that's a whole other gig, but the Wattis curse, I call it. So, it's autographed by everybody and anybody, including the best athlete on the campus right now is the mascot. I'm friends with him. So, that's the historic class. That's the second time I graduated. Yeah, that's Dr. Cooley's program. #1 school of business in the United States, bar none. So, boy-girl twins is a mutation by definition. Should never happen. Now, a lot of doctors say that it's pregnancy twice, which has been proven. There's some people that I work with, and I've been involved in the boy-girl twin dynamic my whole life, which this is real important, because the synthetic diamond, which the science building at Weber State's named after Tracy Hall. He invented the synthetic diamond. He was my 8th grade science teacher, or history teacher at Walkwest Junior High. He was fascinated with me and my twin sister. My dad was nuked in the Nevada test. And this is important, because it was March 10th that night when Damian got upset in the thing. That's exactly 1 year to the second of the Fukushima disasters. Weber State built the reactors at Fukushima, Japan. Utah Construction is GE. I'll write books, The Wattis Curse, but this is important. This is thrilling. What an athlete. I knew the first time I met him. I remember when Randy was recruiting him, and he come up there. I remember shook his hand. I'm like, whoa, go ask Randy. Go ask Randy Ray. But I said, and I'm a big fan of Randy Ray's. I've always has been on support. I call it Randy's boot camp. So this is important because he's from the Bay, Oregon, Ogden. It's important because I call the Fukushima flu. The Starfish virus started in the Bay right there in 2012. Let me tell you how rare boy-girl twins are. It's a mutation. Now, my doctor was the great Dr. Rasmus. I was born very mutated, messed up. I had lots of issues. All I did my whole life is spend, as a young man, warding off all these idiots that were in love with my twin sister. Whoa, she was so beautiful, so cute, every idiot around, that's all I did, and I started at Weber State when I was 15 years old as an art student. I was a BIS student. I did biology, finance, and art. I'm still doing it. The most famous PhD in human history, Kevin D. Damian Lillard's alumni game was on 8/24. Now, that's coming right up on 1/26. That's my granddaughter's birthday, and her name's Gigi. And she was named before that happened. You cannot make this story up. So, boy-girl twins, my doctor said he figured it was pregnant twice. Now, my mom, the beautiful pinup artist, when she was having at D Hospital in Ogden, didn't even know there was another one in there. Almost killed her. So, Damian's wife. Whew. So, boy-girl twins, there's been lots of studies and books. I've been involved with them. They're really incredibly dynamic. John Elway, his sister died tragically many years ago. So the reason is the perspective in the womb, the male-female perspective. You can look these studies up. They're 100 times rarer than twins. I mean, they're a mutation by definition. Did the pregnancy happen twice? Now, there's a couple of twinners, boy girls that I have been friends with in my, scientific studies, my dad over the years in Atlanta, again, that, they always figured, and they finally went and got some DNA, and they actually have different daddies. No, that's not the case in mine, and that's not the case in his. But, so, that should never happen. That's a mutation by definition, but, I was dealt with a lot of help. My dad was nuked in the Nevada test site, that famous Ogdenite. Was a big Weber State basketball guy. What an athlete, Look up Claude, my uncle, what an athlete. What an athlete my dad was. Whoa. Of course, Damian Lillard, whoa, Jerry Carty, whoa. So congratulations, Damian. Boy-girl twins end up being usually absolutely incredible people. I mean, in the womb with the opposite sex, think about it. I mean, incredible. You can't make this story up. It's so rare. I'm so thrilled for him. He played basketball, went to Weber State. There's a video I'm going off about Fukushima just carrying on. He walks right behind me, in 2011. I got to tell this story. You can go talk to Randy. I've been involved with the Weber State basketball program since I was a little kid. I knew Dick Motta personally. I still know Phil Johnson personally. Knew Gene Fisher. Knew them all. Ruben Nemhart, what a player. I worked for Coach Baglin. Fuck, what a team that was. That missed free throw, Ruben. I've been involved with him the whole time. I did the play-by-play, and this was before Kobe had died. Now, this is important. There was a trainer. Weber State has a legendary training program up there. Trainer. His name's Joe Bass. He's a walking, talking encyclopedia. He's great. I love that guy. He's my favorite ever to do with the program. So, there's a trainer that came back many years ago, and I've been involved with Weber for so long, and he says, Kevin, Kobe has one of these brains like you. I says, I know he's a genius. I mean, when he rattles off his press conference when he's 18 years old in multiple languages, oh yeah, he's a genius. He says that, isn't it incredible how sport, especially basketball, will tell the future before it even happens. This is important. Natives played basketball. My teacher was Olene Walker, the first female governor here in Utah's mom. My second grade teacher. T.O. Smith's freaking wife. Her sister was my first grade teacher. She was the one that was all. She says, do you know they played basketball? The natives, the Shoshone, played basketball right here, Kevin. I said, they did? I love basketball. I still do. I'll get your Dick Motta hard hat on. He says, that's Kobe Bryant. That's what you say. You're a big numbers guy, blah, blah. And so I got leukemia on 11/11/11. I was heavily involved. I was in the arena doing the play-by-play for the radio station off and on. I used to do it for 88.1 The Beat. They sold it off. I was an adjunct professor, but I'd gone in and out. If I wouldn't have been the whole cancer, the whole big fight I got in the school business, Damian probably would have ended up one of my classes, but I got cancer, and that's a whole nother fucking nightmare. So, I knew the first time I saw him play. I told Randy, where the fuck did you find this one? He says, oh, and Randy Ray's boot camp. That's an autograph shoe by Randy. I'm friends with Randy. I have been the whole time. Since the day he started there 20 years ago. David Patton, he does the play-by-play for the radio station. I'm friends with him, all of them. I remember my friends buying gamblers are headed out to Wendover, and I'm like, what are you fucking betting on all this jazz bullshit? You got an NBA player. The spread, I think, was like 11 or 12 points. You can go ask Todd James. I was in the Nevada test site. He was in Wendover gambling when Fukushima happened the next year. I was in the Energy Solutions dump site protesting. There's a video of me shooting the flag. Damian broke his foot in that game. They were going to play Jimmer. That's all we heard, Jimmer. He You didn't get to play against Jimmy. That's all we heard here. I'm like, we got an NBA fucking superstar right here. So I'm doing the play-by-play for the radio station. 88.1 The Beat. Manny Gonzalez, who saved that radio station, they did him wrong. Fuck. They sold off the signal when I was in the bone marrow transplant dying of cancer. The only person that supported me whatsoever, I have Damian Lillard's all his games. I have the ticket to his first game. I have all that. Was the basketball team, Randy Ray. I mean, I couldn't even walk when I come out of those games. When they played that bracket buster game, I'm at that game with my nurse, fucking with a central line in my jugular vein, almost dead. You know, that was, I think, Damian's best game in the bracket, and they won, but they didn't get to go to the tournament. They won the bracket buster, but they didn't get to go to the tournament because of that upset. And then the next year was up in Montana, 2012. Fuck. So I'm sitting there. Frank Layden used to come to a lot of Weber State games. I'm friends with Frank. Fort Greene guy. Brooklyn, the greatest. When the Laydens left, the Jazz went. So I knew Jerry Sloan's lover. I have the ticket from where Bobby Sloan, I used to sit with Bobby Sloan at the Jazz games. You know, I have that ticket, you know, because the lover who I went to high school, Jerry Sloan, she just dumped it all. Nobody had a clue what it was. I bought it for peanuts. Yeah, the Michael Jordan game. I had the flu game also. All those games, those important games, Weber State, the D-Event Center, Jason Kidd's last game was in there. You know, I go on and on. How about when Jimmy Valvano cut down the nets, talk about leukemia. So this is important. So I'm sitting there, I'm talking to Frank, which I used to always visit with him. I love that guy. He was a big Sky guy. I mean, Big Sky basketball's fantastic. It's still a real sport. And it's competitive as fucking hell. It's intense. You know, Lillard has to go out against Dron Cherry. Fuck, that kid, that dude, how good. How good Damian Lillard, you know, Zach Braxton's in Vienna right now. I think they won it. But it's got a curse on the whole fucking program. So Damian's got the broken foot. He's sitting there. I'm talking to Frank. Here comes a scout. Oh, hi, Frank. And he's like, oh, this guy, you know, Frank under his breath. What a dumb fucker. You know, and he says, I'm recruiting. You're here scouting the players, are you? And Frank said, yeah. Who are you recruiting? Who are you looking at? This player from Eastern Washington who was a good player. And I looked right at the scout, and I says, your NBA player's sitting right there. And he's sitting right there in his boot, and pointed at Damian Lillard. I'm pretty sure Damian heard it. And the scout laughed. Who the fuck is laughing now? Whoa. The night that Lillard on the Kobe game, I did a video right here, and I said, watch him go crazy. He'll go crazy. Because I just know how he is when he gets the spotlight. He's one of those. I mean, he's this rare. I knew it the first time I met. He's one of these rare twin boy and girls. You know how rare that is? You know, my beautiful, incredible twin sister. Everybody used to call her Stevie Nicks when we was young. God. Amazing story. So I'm so happy for you. So why does this matter? Oh, it matters because Damian's from Oakland, from the Bay, Oregon. 2010 that night. This is important. The Ogden Clinic was started by my uncle who saved my life, you know, when I had cancer, right there on that very said ground where the D-Event Center is. 1975, that thing was built. When Utah Construction merged with GE, GE made everybody rich, the campus rich. Stewart, that's the heirs. They built that. I saw Stevie Nicks snorting cocaine. I mean, what a bill. I've been in there from the first day. Always have been. Ask anybody. I've been there every fucking game. Of course, this year, no fans. Kind of like last year. So I'm sitting there doing the play-by-play we're trying to, you know, we're doing the radio station digitally. The man, he got pissed and quit. That was the end of Kevin as far as the rate, but that's okay. There's a 3-point shooting contest. Lillard's alumni tournament that he puts on. There's a video out there. Should have millions of views. I'm like, they can't make him ever shoot launching them up. Damian, go show him how, I yell. He's standing right there. Out he goes on the floor. It's his turn, his group. First shot. Half a. Never forget this. Kobe. Numbers guy. Damian Lillard's alumni tournament. Right as COVID started to come into our bodies, the virus was on 8/24. Why is that significant? What are Kobe's two numbers? Why did he change from 8 to 24? He says it was a business deal. Said he made $100 million off of it. So I think it's thrilling that he's got this boy-girl twin. They're rare like he is. Talk about rare. Starfish, COVID. That's when I believe that it all happened. I believe it happened the night of the Fukushima meltdowns. He was on the Weber State campus. So was I. Together. This evolution for East 8 on its side, as I call it. This perpetual, these are all Einstein's words, which I called in the beginning when Fukushima happened. I'm doing the videos at Weber State University. That's where the Million Mass March was hatched there on the death in 2012. He was on the campus then of Matthew Stewart. Same family. No knock warrant, blah, blah, blah. That happened in 2012, January 2012. I'm the Bone Marrow Transplant Center. This whole evolution, it's so important. It's so important because he is a cultural, gigantic figure. And he's a genius. And he's one of those. He's a Kobe type, mentally. And he has boy-girl twin. My mom and dad were like that. My mom and dad, my dad athlete, my mom, they were geniuses. They're both them. My dad died so young, of leukemia. Nuked to death in the Nevada test site. By the water's curse. It all ties. I've always known. I've been there my whole life. Dr. Winters mentored me. I'm the first BI student in the history of that school. I was. I saved the MBA program. #1 MBA program in the United States. I did biology, art, and finance. And so it's an incredible story because the Fukushima flu, I'm going crazy about it that day. They're lying. These are meltdowns. This is going to change everything. Right there where Damian's from is where this started, in the Starfish. Which is a virus. Then the Starfish, it mutated into the seals in the sea. It got into me in 2011. I went to the bone marrow transplant on 11/11/11. Think about that, 3 of them. Fukushima, the meltdowns. Weber State built the reactors at Fukushima, Japan. You talk about Chalk River also, Dana. This is historic, important stuff. When I heard he had twins, I'm like, don't tell me they're a boy, girl. There's no way that's possible. I look and I'm like, no. The elasticity of time. We're all connected. This matters because the virus, which I call the Fukushima flu, which I've called the Starfish virus, started in the Starfish. It's well documented. I'm the first guy that was calling it a virus. I'm the first guy that said you could plume. Started right there. It's where it started, right there, where Damian's born and raised. It's where it started. Its name, COVID-19. COVID is the Hebrew word for what? Kobe. What does Kobe mean? Kobe means Japanese. Great. There's a picture with me and Mikado standing right there inside the center at graduation. In 96, the second time I graduated there. That incredible finance department. Me and Mikado are standing in that. There's a picture of me and Mikado together. Let me show you this. It's right here, I think. It's there somewhere. Those are letter recommendations, historic ones from Dr. Cooley. All these money. That's right there. So why does this matter? Because this is just the greatest event in human history, and it happened at the exact same time. The elasticity of time. I always knew he was one of those. They're rare. Basketball is the sport that was played by natives for centuries, right there on the set of ground where he played. The water's curse, I call it. When Damian Lillard doesn't play in the big dance. Go ask Jerry Carty when they were ahead by 7 points. I was at Cal Poly. I was there. I was drinking beer in San Luis Obispo with Patrick McCormick. Look it up. When they were ahead by 7 points, but Jerry Carty was a freshman with like 30 seconds to go and lost the Big Sky Championship game. The Diablo Canyon. TikTok. So this is important because the virus moved from this. This is unarguable now. The Monterey Aquarium is freaking verifying my work now that the virus moved out of the. That's what killed the Starfish was a virus now, which I called it in 2011, 2012. My work proves it all. Everybody laughed at me. Then it moved into the Seals in the sea lions. 40% of them all remember their backs. I'm walking the coast doing this work while I'm dying of cancer. The platelet counts down to nothing with a failed organ valve. I'm dying. Then it moved into the birds. Starvation. Then now it's moved into the gray whales. I said it the whole time. It's going to move into the people. It's going to fucking move into the people. Hello. It's a contagious virus. Oh, it's not contagious. Then why the fuck, if it's not contagious, are we all wearing these? Weber State. Used to be great. Used to be Weber. Now it's Mimi State. It needs to go back to being Weber. Damian Lillard, the most famous alumni in the history of school? Not even. Well, that'd be Fama K. Brody. Yeah. Watkowski, Damian. First player of color in the history of the NBA. Born and raised in Ogden, Utah. 2 championships. National championships. The old Deseret Gym. Weber State. One last thing. Trevon Smith, the all-time leading rusher in the history of the football program, at the same time Damian was there when Damian was a freshman. 4 kids had a stroke and a heart attack right after playing for Weber, just a few years after. Became all messed up. 4 kids. Local Utah boy. Right before Damian's alumni game, I'm walking because my car broke down. Remember, I walked literally 10 miles to do that call. The night of that game, I walked literally 10 miles. Ask Manny. I walked 10 miles from here from West Weber. Literally. And laying on the side of the road, I look at there's the piece of the Standard Examiner standing there, and I'm like, the fuck is this? And I'm like, what? No. I knew him. Beat to death in a jail cell on the 4th of July, 2019. COVID-19. These are incredible fucking stories, and these matter. Oh, they matter. Used to be Weber. I'll tell you one last story about Weber State. This is how disgusting they are, how they betrayed me, saved their NBA program. Kyle Matson died of cancer, who I used to work for. Better Hanley's brain. I go on and on and on and on. Well, maybe I should wait for another day for this story. Oh, it's snowing outside. We got some endangered species. I'm headed up to the game. They play at noon. Get the roads plowed. I'll tell it. Watt Makowski, the first player of color in the history of the NBA. Born and raised on 25th Street in Ogden, Utah. Japanese. You know, what do they call them? The first generation. Talk about racism. He said, I believe he played at Ogden High. He goes to school that day on Pearl Harbor when they rounded up all the Japanese and put them in internment camps. Lots of Japanese. A lot of the fans that go to Weber State basketball to this day are still Japanese. A lot because of Watt, and there's a lot here. Right out here, you know, me and crowd. So the teacher sent them all home, all the Japanese descent students. They were rounded up all over the country, including Utah. Nephi, Utah was one of the internment camps, including Santa Anita Racetrack, you know, Cory Nakatani's parents. Ogden, Utah. He says, I went to school the next day. I never had one single problem, ever. This is what? Never had a problem. This is the different Weber State hate now, who refused to recognize Fama K. Brody, who refused to recognize Watt, refused to recognize Kevin Blanch, because it's disgusting. I don't know what their fucking trip is, but they're fucked up. I went to the president of Weber State University. I started playing basketball there then, right there. I believe it was President Dixon. He says, my cousins are being interned at Santa Anita Racetrack in Los Angeles. Well, that's not good. That's not right. Not only did President Dixon arrange for them to come to Weber State and give them a job at the bookstore, which, by the way, Marriott and my grandmother, Jay Marriott, were best friends. They went to school together, sat next together right there. He was the bookstore there. Now Tim is. I got the jersey, the last jersey. It's all autographed. We're going to frame it, put it on the wall, Damian. Got to get your signature on it. including the mascot. He's the #1 in the country 3 years in a row. He drove his car to Los Angeles, picked up Watt's cousins, brought him back to Ogden, Utah, and gave him jobs at Weber State. You think about that. That's what they used to be. They used to be, what if I was mentored by the great Dr. Cooley, I have the last word, the great Dr. Winters, the great Dr. Doyle Strong, all these far, I did a BIS. I started Weber State when I was 15 years old, 16. I says, you're going to school for a piece of paper, you're going the wrong thing. I took biology, but basketball's the lynch to it all. Again, COVID-19 from the sea. My daughter was conceived the night that John Lennon was killed. How do I know that? Because it's the only time I slept with her, and her little girl named Gigi, born on the 26th. Wow. You cannot make it up. The elasticity of time. It's an incredible story. I knew that he was, I think this is his second and third child. It's very exciting. And I'm like, don't tell me it's boy, girl. No, what's the odds? I was born in Ogden at the old D hospital. Dr. Rasmussen, who saved my life. I was a very sick child. Got cortisone shots in each cheek for years and years. I was very, mutated as hell. Hold on. There's another one in there. I was first. She came later, and were considered preemies in those days. Boy-girl twins. You can look it up, and you steer in. What minds. What incredible people. I always go back to John Elway's sister died young. Amazing story. Fukushima flu. I started the Million Mass March, which was the post-ignorance project that evolved into Black Lives Matter. Damian, this is a fact. At Weber State University. That's an unarguable fact on the death of Danielle Lillard in 2012. It's an arguable fact. I led the movement, gave the marches. It's unarguable fucking proof. At Weber State. The Post-Ignorance Project was born at Weber State, which this is the greatest evolution of a activism, scientist, artist in history. While Lillard was there, I was inside that arena when they up by 20 points and lose a half. Anthony Johnson, after the game, he never missed a free throw. Never did it once. Did it before. I'll never forget. I'm standing right by Damian. I'm like, oh my God. I had an out-of-body experience. Ask him. I never seen anything so freaking. I've been season ticket for the Jazz from the day they were here. I've been all those great. I watched Jordan make that shot. I was sitting right across from him. I watched Jason Kidd's last game in the Purple Palace. I watched Jimmy Valvano cut down the nets. I go on and on and on and on and on and on. When Weber State had a home game against Lamar and Billy Tubbs and upset them when they come back from 20. And I can go on and on. I was at the game in Florida when Ruben Nauhart messed the freaking one end to beat Allen Iverson, had him beat. I was up in Seattle. I was with the president of the university when they had Florida fucking beat. They go to the Sweet 16, and he misses a free throw, goes to overtime. The Waters curse. Why does this all matter? Oh, it matters. Because the virus, I go on the ball. There's no doubt in my life that COVID-19 from the sea was started at Fukushima, Japan. Where was Fukushima, the nuclear water boilers, born? Weber State University. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. Boy-girl twins. Oh, they know. They're very special people. For real. So, I call it the Fukushima flu. Exactly to the second, a year before that happened. It was the 10th here, March 10th. That's the night they lost that game. Exactly a year later, I'm in the Energy Solutions Dump Say, protesting Mike Lee bringing in the Italian waste, Kobe. When it happened, Mike Lee to me at Weber State University. Well, Kevin, I just found out my dad's a interview with Mitt Romney, interviews with Governor Herbert, interview with Spencer Cox, interview with all of these. Kevin Blanch at Weber State. Blackball me. for my stance against the nuclear energy crimes there, number one school business in the United States. To last now, when I taught there, when I graduated there, what a fucking journey. I call it the Starfish virus. COVID-19 is and my work has proven it. It started in the starfish, moved to the seals, moved to the sea lions, now it's in the wells. I said the whole time it was going to come for the people. COVID-19 from the sea, a Wuhan fish, no doubt in my mind, that's where it came from, absolutely no doubt. Where did fish come from? The sea. The proof of this great ecological catastrophe in human. Oregon. Oh boy, direct hit. The bridge from Fukushima, Japan made it on Gold Beach in freaking 7 days. The crop, Tim Martin, all this work, Oregon. How about the fact that Paul Allen, the owner of the Trailblazers, saved the ocean, died of the exact disease I had. His $60 billion didn't save him. It's an incredible story. And the fact that he just had boy-girl twins, I don't believe is any coincidence. I believe it has to do with this, the elasticity of time, Einstein. Kobe's words. Kobe means greatness in Japan. The great virus, what it's done to the Pacific Ocean, from the starfish to the sills to the sea lions to the gray whales. What did the gray whales say to the starfish? I'm walking the coast dying of this disease. 2014 or 15, there's a humpback, 60,000-pound humpback. I had my hands on her. She took her last get that. And a woman told me, Kevin, Blanch, because I wrote Fukushima killed me. This biologist told me, there's no way radiation from Fukushima can kill a 60,000-pound whale. I says, it didn't. The virus did. It starved to death. It killed its food. What did John Steinbeck, Monterey? I've done so much work there in Monterey. And now the Monterey biologist is confirming what I said. He said it's a virus. This is coming right out of his mouth. When I do all their fucking work, he gets a check, I don't. All the work that gets done at Monterey, Doc Ricketts, Blanch, I do it. Look it up. John Steinbeck, the Grays of the Baja, the Sea of Cortez, Doc Ricketts, Blanch. As you look down into the sea, you see the starfish. You look up into the heavens, you see the Big Dipper. You realize how connected they are. Starting the starfish. It's the Fukushima flu. It's the starfish virus. Kobe. Damian Lillard's alumni game. Kevin Blanch on the call. Show him how it's done, Damian! Walks out, drops a fucking half. He high-fived me. Drops a high-five thing, half-quarter first shot. Oh, he's one of those. I knew it. Go ask Randy Ray. You don't believe me? You go ask Randy Ray and you have a conversation with Randy Ray what I told him about the first day that I met Lillard when he was recruiting me. I'm like, whoa. Where did you find? By the way,